Hi everyone, it's Wednesday Warriors, and it's me, Arielle. And this week I'm going to be talking about some things that I've learned from people over the years, and either how I apply them or how much they have really served a purpose in my life. One of the most important things that I learned a long time ago was don't be afraid to ask for help. I had sort of had this notion in my head that strong people didn't ask for help and you should always be able to handle things on your own, but that's simply not the case. And I know that there are still many people out there who are teaching that, letting people know that you shouldn't ask for help and you should be able to handle everything on your own. But it's not true, and I think personally that it takes a very strong person to ask for help and to know when to ask for help, because sometimes we might want to be able to do things on our own, but knowing that we can't, or that we would be better off reaching out and getting some kind of assistance, is actually the smarter thing and is actually the stronger thing. Sometimes it puts us in a very vulnerable position, and feeling vulnerable doesn't always feel good. And that's why people sort of somehow equate vulnerable with weak. And they're not the same thing. You can still be an extremely strong person and be vulnerable at times. And then when you ask for help and you put yourself out there and you get the help that you need and you get the support that you're asking for, you actually make yourself stronger because you're sort of backed by an army. And whether that army is an army of one or an army of 20 people who are behind you, it really makes all of the difference. Something that you'll read on my website that I often say is that hope is my favorite personal value. And for me, hope plays as important a role as resilience or as a meal plan when you're starting off in recovery. For me, hope is sort of a prerequisite for anything else. If you don't have hope, you don't have anything. You're not going to even want to put your foot forward and keep taking those steps to get better and to be better and to live life and wake up every day. You have to have that hope. Hope to me is sort of like the key ingredient that holds everything together, and I really try to impress that upon people. I think a lot of people are under the impression that hope is good, but maybe they're without it. And it doesn't mean that other people don't have hope, but they personally don't have any hope in themselves or for themselves, and the hope is all gone for them. Now they're this hopeless case, this lost cause. But if you want hope, you can have hope. And if you have hope, then you can keep going. And everything else just becomes secondary to that hope. And I'm not sure where I've learned that along the way. I don't think anyone ever sat me down and told me, hey, look, hope is important. But to me, it was always important. And to me, when I sort of weave it into the things that I do to help other people with eating disorder recovery, it always seems to really benefit things and to really give things that extra sense of positivity, obviously. But for me, for the longest time, when I became recovered, what I really wanted to do was be a face of hope so that I could say to people, full recovery is possible. And I wanted people to hear my words and see me and read what I had written and sort of say to themselves, wow, if this is what recovery looks like, sign me up, because I want that. And that's being a face of hope. So for me, being a face of hope is extremely important because I can say, yes, I have been there, and I can understand where you're coming from, and you can do this, and you can get better. And the first step, the very first thing in order to get to that place is hope. Another thing I've been learning more and more every day, more recently, is the role that gratitude can play in people's lives. And this doesn't have to have anything to do with recovery from an eating disorder or recovery from anything for that matter, just in life in general. I've obviously always known that gratitude was extremely important and has a place, But I don't think I realized to what extent gratitude can really turn things around and can really change things. And the more that you really are thankful for the things you have, even if they feel very few to you or very small, it makes a huge impact on how positive you can be and how good you feel and how happy you are. And I'm a huge believer in that you can choose to be happy, even when things around you seem to not be so great. And I choose to be happy. I always choose to be happy, and I think other people can choose it too. Now, that's not to say that people don't have pretty horrible things happen to them, traumatic things that are things that no one should have to deal with or suffer through. But have you ever known a person who seemed to have every bad thing happening to them, really terrible things, and they still sort of had a smile on their face, and they still said, yep, I can get through this and I'm okay, and they meant it, and you believed them, and they were able to push through and were happy even though they had no money or they had no prospects and they had no support or family? It's because a person can choose to be happy. We have that as part of our human nature, and we can choose to make the best of our situations, or we can choose to make the worst of them. Many years ago, I also realized that not only does perfection not exist, but it's not something that we should be striving for. People strive for the wrong things. They want to be perfect, or they want their lives to be perfect, and your life is never going to be perfect. It's going to be really great and full of happiness if you want it to be and you let it happen and you make it happen, but it won't ever be perfect. My life is fantastic. It's great. I love my life. I love the things that I do, but my life's not perfect. Bad things still happen. Sad things still happen. You can't control everything around you. You can't control the people in your life. You can only control the way you react to things and the way you respond to those people. And even though I would certainly tell you that my life is great, there have been a lot of negative things that have happened. And it doesn't make my life any less great because, as I said earlier, I choose to be happy. No matter what life throws at me, even if I'm not happy about it, I choose to be happy. People waste a lot of energy complaining, but they waste a lot of energy focusing on all the negative stuff and thinking about all the things that have gone wrong or could go wrong, and it takes away from all of the energy they could be spending to make things better, or if making things better is impossible, because sometimes it is, at least focusing on all of the good things, because there are always good things, and starting off your day or ending your day with the things that you're truly thankful for is hugely important, and you would be surprised if you keep that up how much more beautiful your life seems. One really important thing I've learned along the way, probably through trial and error and just through my own experience, is that if you love yourself, if you learn to love yourself and you really feel that love for yourself, you become a sort of magnet where everything that you exude, it draws people and circumstances to you. And your life is really filled with a lot of good. And in a sense, you sort of become a light. And not only are you able to touch other people, but other people see that person who is happy, is confident, is content to be herself, who genuinely likes her life and loves herself. And all of that is like this glow that is around you. And everyone else can see it. And sometimes they don't even know that they're seeing it. But they know that you're a little bit different than other people they might come across. And it's a very, very positive thing. And not only does it open doors, if you're looking for doors to open, but it brings the right people to you, and you become surrounded with all of the things that you really do want to be surrounded with. It's sort of like karma, in a way. You know, what you put out there, you do get back. And it all starts with loving you. I did a video at some point in 2012 called Arielle Makes You a Vision Board, and it was a video in which I literally made a vision board piece by piece for you, and I put up a bunch of my favorite quotes for eating disorder recovery, but really just for life, living a full life, learning lessons, and some of my very favorite quotes are in that video. So I'm not going to share them here. I'm going to sort of send you along the way and direct you to that video if you haven't already watched it. There's a lot that goes on in that video, and it was sort of like a little gift, a little pick-me-up to many of my viewers and blog readers. So I do hope you'll check it out if you're interested. I also did a couple videos earlier this year on gratitude, and I will post the links to those as well if you are interested in sort of seeing how expressions of gratitude really work and how gratitude can be life-changing. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time.